She had been known affectionately as simply the godmother. Being the senior member, she had been the last of the four to speak. The words she had once spoken came into his head.
Okay, we're back here on the show, and it's me, Hugh, and I have yet another co-host. I have Miranda here, Miranda Hill.
Exactly.
Miranda.
How are you?
I am great.
Wonderful. Pleased to meet you.
It's good to do this. We're really kind of just surfing this because I didn't know you were going to be my co-host.
Well, I didn't know either.
So there you go. So anyways, we're here and we've got our final guest of the day, David Bell, joining us. And David, great to have you here on the show.
It's a pleasure.
And you're with a company called Nexus Communications Marketing,
That's right.
And you're the VP of Client Services.
That's
so
right.
Let's talk about Nexus.
Okay, well, Nexus is a boutique graphic design company. We specialize in interactive media, do a lot of video, do a lot of PowerPoints on steroids, and our main focus is internal communications. Basically, we take a corporation's messages to their stakeholders, and we bring it to life through graphic design, video, animation, basically making the message pop so it's more engaging, so people actually become engaged in the communication.
You know, that's kind of interesting, and actually because Miranda is in the social media business, I kind of want to bring her expertise in on this because in the old days it was like the company talking to their audience. And nowadays with social media, it's almost like it's a conversation. And I'm wondering how that impacts you because you're dealing with the internal stakeholders a lot of the time of the companies. And have you guys had to adjust as the social media environment has expanded?
Well, some of our communications have feedback mechanisms. Executives really want to know what their reports are thinking, and so some of the communications we have, they'll be video based, where there'll be a feedback button you can click and give the feedback on what you think of the communication, the effectiveness of the communication, and sometimes, especially when you're dealing with sales forces, ideas from the field, and these ideas are taken very seriously.
You mean the management, the company itself wants to take the input from the guys out there on the field and internalize
from the ground
it.
first. Just so that I can wrap my head around things, you basically create, from a management standpoint, something that is very powerful as far as video and that type of thing, and you send it out to the employees. Typically
through the intranet. We call them tools, communication tools, and they take various forms. Sometimes it'll be an icon that'll be forced installed onto their laptops, and all they have to do is click on it, and all of a sudden there's a talking head there, a senior person talking to them, engaging directly with them, and asking them
what every CEO wants, right? I'm just an icon on your desktop.
Well, it's more personal that way. If you're reaching your employees at every level, especially even on the ground level, then you're going to get a Mac environment as far as more of your own employees starting to participate with, booyah, I love the brand, I start to feel it, touch it.
What? A Mac environment?
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means you eat, breathe, you are an evangelist for Mac.
Oh, the people that
are in the
even
company.
Their customers. Their customers too?
Their companies, their customers then become a brand evangelist for Mac.
Right.
So that's for the most part what you're tailoring your programs to do as well, is to just let me know if I'm incorrect here.
You're absolutely correct. It's I mean, when I first got involved in sales, which was quite a while ago, the way it was the corporation decided what they wanted you to sell. They decided how they're going to package it. They decided what the key messaging was, and it was up to you to take it out there and jam it down people's throats.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work anymore, especially because of social media. People want to have an opportunity to become engaged in the process.
Well, you can't push rope either.
No, you can't push rope, and they're finally starting to figure that out, and because the environment is so incredibly competitive, they can't afford to send programs into the market that just aren't going to work, that aren't going to engage with the customer, and if they can't even engage with their own sales force, there's no way that program is going to make it to the customer. So the critical thing is they can't afford to spend money on initiatives that aren't going to work.
Okay, so from Nexus' point of view, really, what kind of customers, or what are the kind of companies that should be dealing with you guys? That are, what do they need to be looking for so that you guys can come in and solve their problems for them?
Any company that needs, like right now, we're working with retailers and their big initiatives now. I mean, Target's coming in from the States. And Target is going to come in and they're going to take a big piece of market share. But what they're also going to do is they're going to raid all of the employees of our Canadian retailers. So our Canadian retailers are ramping up to, number one, keep their existing high-performing employees engaged and motivated. And obviously there's training involved because they also have to teach their retail employees to engage with the customers better, because if the customer walks in the door and leaves without making the purchase and goes down the street, then they've lost that piece of business.
It all starts with the customer.
It all starts with the customer. And also the retailers need to have engagement in the marketplace to be able to attract new employees as well, because they're competing with American companies like Target that are going to be, after the brightest and the best, as most corporations are.
So now you're talking about going outside of the company firewall,
That's
right?
right.
To speak to the public.
So there's the internal communications, employee engagement, rewards programs, stuff like that to keep them engaged and happy. And also, there's, if an employee is bored or isn't particularly happy in the position that they're in, it's being able to keep that employee by saying, hey, guess what? There's other things you can do. You can move laterally. You can, go for a promotion into a different department that you may be interested in. So it's keeping that employee engaged, because the investment's already been made. And, with the training programs and everything else.
Now, so that's, you guys, though, as a graphics company or communications and marketing, maybe it goes beyond, communications and marketing, but at the strategic level, do you guys help these companies to craft their strategy?
Well, what we do is typically in a briefing session, the client will tell us what the challenge is, and we'll go away and we'll come back with a potential solution for that. But we find more and more we have working sessions with our clients. So it's a lot more interactive. Instead of us, coming to them and jamming a solution down their throat, we want to engage with their internal stakeholders to make sure that we're on the mark. So I think there's just a lot more interaction and a lot more engagement just to make sure that we're all, on the bus together with the same, with the same objectives in mind.
So with that kind of openness that you bring to the table and eliciting the company to come up, in a sense, with their own solutions, what is it that Nexus brings to the table that's different and unique, that even though these companies, you're helping them to come up with their own solutions, what are you guys bringing to the table that other companies aren't?
Well, I think all of our solutions are custom solutions. We don't have, we don't go out and sell stuff. We don't develop a program and then try to sell the same program, to 10 different clients. All of our solutions tend to be tailored because every company has their own challenges, and plus we have amazing graphic design. We've got some great designers, and we make the message pop, and we bring it to life. Our designers are great animators as well, and it's kind of like multimedia on steroids. We'll bring great graphic design together with great animation, together with great video, and great editors that put it all together with motion graphics, and if it moves, it sells.
And are your clients? Do you operate in Toronto principally, or do you have clientele all over the country, or?
We have clientele. The Canadian Tourism Commission is one of our clients, and their head office is in Vancouver. So we've got clients right across the country, but most of our clients are national based, and most of the head offices are here in Toronto. So we deal at the head office, and the programs get pushed out across the country.
Okay, and people you mentioned the great graphics, so all that communication stuff on steroids, a lot of that people could actually check out on the website, right?
That's right.
And let's give people that website if they want to follow up.
It's www.nexusgraphics.com.
Okay, Nexus Graphics. Any final thoughts, Dave, you want to leave us with?
No, just thanks a lot for having me on the show, and really appreciate that.
Okay, great. Maybe some other time we'll get you back talk about some other topics.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for doing this, Dave, and Miranda. Thanks for coming in and co-hosting.
Welcome. By all means, it was a pleasure to be here with both of you.
Now, and
terrific.
This isn't going to be a big interview. We'll have to have you back and actually have you where Dave is and getting interviewed. But I know you're involved in social media and you got something special you're working on these days. Do you want to just tell people about that quickly?
Well, I mean, right now, as far as social media goes, it's an evolution. Everything is ever changing, and there's always something new, something different coming up. And so currently what I've done is I've created a Facebook page that is free for everybody as far as a free resource base for Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, all the late incoming tools that are, accessible, for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's called 9049 Social Community Marketing. Let me double check that just because I am on camera on that one.
You can do that. You see?
Social media marketing, 9049 social media marketing. And so anybody has access to this page and can basically use it as a resource.
Okay, so what do they do? Go facebook.com/9049 social
media marketing. Yep.
What's the 9049 for?
That stands for one of the classes that I took at George Brown as far as social media.
Okay.
And with regards to this, I didn't like the fact that there was information hoarding going on. As far as I know it, but I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to share it with you. I believe in paying it forward, and I believe in teaching and sharing and having that kind of concept go on. So that's why I've created this page so that everybody has access to it.
That's great. And that's really what social media is about, right?
It is.
You can't keep that information anymore behind that firewall. You got to get it out there. Okay. All right. So is there an email address you might want to give people for you?
With regards to that,
or for your business, they maybe want to do business with you?
you can do, it's basically Miranda B. Hill spelled backwards at Gmail. LLIHBADNNARIM. So.
Okay, we'll print that. So
yes, print
people
that.
won't have to actually figure it out.
My name was taken. I didn't like that. So, Miranda B. Hill spelled backwards at Gmail. That works.
Awesome.
Miranda, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, by all means. Thank you for having me as well.
All right.
Pleasure co-hosting.
That's it for the show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in live from the Tula restaurant here atop of the Harbour Council, Weston, and the PBN.ca. We'll see y'all next time right here on Liquid Lunch. Thatchannel.com. See you then.
Definitely. Take care.
I know most of you believe it is impossible to really change, to become something different than you are, but it is not. However, first, we have to let go of our old beliefs. We must accept the fact that each of us is responsible for what has happened. We cannot blame one another.
But the old man didn't want to even think about what he had done, and he let his mind drift away unto other things. But the lady in white drew him back with her words.
Those last few months were the most important time in man's history. People began to understand that it was their own fear that was polluting the world, killing the oceans. Even the righteous began to see that they too acted out of fear rather than love. However, even in their darkest moment, humankind was capable of a magnificent gesture. People from all over the world began sending messages to the Godmother. Find some way of saving the children. Our children are young and unafraid. They're not tied to old ways, and for them nothing is impossible. Perhaps they can change. Perhaps deep in the forest there's enough oxygen for them to live, at least long enough to try. We'll find some way of saving the children. Here was a worldwide sense of caring beyond self and family. It was the sign that the butterfly was getting ready to leave the cocoon.
The lady in white stopped and studied the old man for a long time. He looked frantic, as if he wanted to run from the hall. And she knew that she had to reach him now, or he'd be lost forever. She knew that she'd have to risk bringing him into her story.
And so, the children were sent into the forest, wherever large and ancient trees could still be found, for that was where there might be enough oxygen for them to live. And with each group of children was sent a strong young man or woman, young persons who were loving, fearless, chosen, because they'd promised to protect the children.
And inside the old man's head, the words were pounding.
Stop it! Stop!
And with us tonight is one of these men who long ago was sent out to protect the children. He is our guest of honor.
Everyone turned and looked towards the old man. The words were exploding inside his head.
It's a lie!